Hello, everyone. This is High Priestess Tana, and thank you for tuning in to Tana Temple Healing Works. And I'm back just to talk about something very briefly. And I know it's not related to like collective readings, but it's just something I wanted to point out really, really quickly. And it's related to that Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight that happened. When was it? Was it last week or whenever? But yeah, I think it was like December 18th because I watched it live on Netflix, right? So a lot of people have things to say about this whole fight, right? And I have my own opinions, and I wanted to give my own spiritual perspective or overview, or however you want to put it, about what I picked up on when I saw the fight. So, as I was watching the fight, I noticed a lot of different things, right? So, I noticed like when AJ walked out, he looked very irritated, right? So they have like their ring walk, and that's like their entrance to the stage or whatever, and they have their music in the background, and they have the montage of different fights and footage of them and everything like that. And I was just looking and I was like, damn, he looked irritated as hell, yo. So I thought it was so funny. Like he looked like he was ready to beat dude's ass, like automatically. So then you have Jake Paul who comes out and he basically looked like a clown compared to AJ, right? With all his Hulk Hogan looking gear or whatever he had on, attire or whatever the fuck. And if I recall correctly, that was Takashi 6ix9ine who was performing as he was making his entrance to the ring and all his other stuff, his ring walk or whatever. And I was just like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, is this a clown show or a fucking boxing match? Like, I've seen some theatrical shit in my day, but that shit was funny. I'm not even gonna lie, because he was doing the fucking most. But anyway, so when the fight started, I instantly picked up on his energy, right? And I was like, this, as I was looking at AJ fight, I was like, this is the energy of Shango. Like opening a can of whoop ass on Jake Paul. And when I thought about the name of the fight and the theme of the fight, rather, was called Judgment Day. And it's so funny because I was looking at the fight and I was looking at like the theme and them talking about, what each other was going plan to do in the ring and all this other stuff and what their predictions were. It was very interesting to me because when I thought about some things, I was like, you know what? I kept picking up on that Shango energy. And I said, you know what? AJ is Nigerian. Not only is he British, he's Nigerian as well. He's a British man of Nigerian descent. So that makes perfect sense. His energy was strong like that. And I just thought it was very, like, I don't know, like, it was very powerful energy. You could tell like it just like was all through the TV. Like you could feel it like seeping from the TV, like every punch, every everything, like every movement. Like I was like, okay, he's come for war for real. Okay, not a clown show, not a fucking not for games, fun and games, or trying to be on some theatrical shit. He came to whoop some ass. And I was thinking, when I thought about the energy of Shango and how he is a warrior, right? And if you think about it, a boxer is like a warrior energy. It's a type of warrior energy. And Shango represents power, thunder, lightning, authority, kingship, dancing, music, drumming, masculinity. And speaking of, ooh, I want to really hop on that masculinity part. did y'all see how the women, they always go crazy over AJ? Like, I've been following his career since like late 2015. Like, I think it was late 2015. It may have been like November or December or something like that in 2015, if I recall correctly. And he always had that vibe to him, like that powerful Yoruba type of energy. I believe he might be of Yoruba descent. I don't, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But that always was strong. That aura was always strong around him, like that warrior energy. But also, if you think about Shango, he also represents justice, virility, passion, fire, and war. So when I think about it, also, like, excuse me if I've repeated myself, but I'm thinking about the masculinity part, right? AJ is a very strong man. He's tall. Like, and he's usually bigger, like more muscular than what he was during that fight. So he had actually lost a lot of weight for that fight from what it looks like. He was way more trim. And what I've noticed is like his movements were better, faster. He had a lot of speed, more coordinated with his punches and his foot movement versus his past fights. And also I was about to talk about, yeah, I keep skipping over the masculinity part. Masculinity, strength, leadership, and just overall like a good life, like a luxurious life and filled with abundance. And that represents him as well. I'm speaking of Anthony Joshua, also known as AJ. So when I thought about it, after he won a fight, y'all, did y'all see how the women just was on him like flies to shit? You know what I'm saying? I could probably come up with a better example, but that's how they were on him, like, you know, like that. You know what I'm saying? Like the best way to describe it, but it's like a magnetic attraction because Shango has that charisma, and not only can he fight, but he come to, serve justice when it's time to be served, but he also is attractive, strong, virile, and that turns women on. Some women like the fact that a man could whoop some ass, because they feel like, well, he can protect me, and women love that. But also, it's funny because when I'm thinking of the colors red and yellow, is I believe in Santeria, those are the colors of Shango, if I recall correctly. They could be like red and yellow, but I also know that Shango's colors is like red and white as well, but I think they could be red and yellow as well. So like with Ifa and Santeria, okay? But, or Yoruba / Santeria and Ifa. Um, so the thing is that it was about justice, karma, judgment. I said, damn, this fight is like tarot cards. If tarot cards were real in real life, I mean, well, if tarot cards, correction, could be like, it was a human, because they exist in real life, obviously. I said that correctly. But if tarot cards were a person, that was like Jake Paul's like karma, which could have been like judgment, the tower card, and a few other things that come to mind. Those two in particular, the judge, and I thought it was crazy, like I said before, Judgment Day. And I noticed that AJ kept saying he was going to take his soul. He was going to basically whoop his ass and snatch his soul out of his body and all this other stuff. And the crazy part on the judgment card, if you look at the card very closely, it talks about that. About reawakening, having a rebirth, coming from basically, well, let's Google it. From like just having like an awakening. So it represents a rebirth, a transformation, a major awakening, deep self-evaluation, reassessment, and a culmination of life lessons and various other things. And you have to, in this phase of your life, you have to listen to your higher self. And you have to step into a phase where you're being your authentic self. And as a result, you're going to have that epiphany. You're going to have that aha moment. You're going to have that, how would I say it? Like purpose and clarity. And I don't know, I really didn't look into what's in store for Jake Paul. I really don't get into all that stuff when it comes to like celebrities and stuff like that. But from what I'm getting is that maybe he's going to reassess this situation and think, hey, if you play stupid games, you might win stupid prizes. But I can't say that, well, can't say the prize was too stupid, because from what I understood, both of these men were awarded or rewarded $92 million apiece. So 184 million split down the middle 50-50, that's $92 million apiece for this fight. But it also goes, it boils down to what would you do to make that money? Like, how far would you go to want to make that money? You know what I'm saying? What are you willing to risk? And it got me thinking about the movie Him, which deals with football. But that movie was, that movie was crazy. I didn't really care for it, though. I didn't really care for it. But I think this really showed the world overall, like the final, how would I say it? It was like I think it was kind of like, it really closed this, I'm gonna say, this cycle of living in this, I guess you would say, unauthentic version for Jake Paul to end living a lie, basically, when it comes to his skill set. Like, this really gave people, I mean, people been saw that a lot of shit was capped with him anyway when it came to his boxing skills. But this really showed the world, hey, you can't, you are in front of a very masculine man who really did serve Jake Paul his karma. Because he talked this big shit, like, basically, I'm gonna whoop his ass, I'm gonna do this and that to this man, and he didn't do shit. He got one good clean punch, and that shit rolled off of AJ like he was the fucking Terminator in that motherfucker. I was like, damn, nigga, like, what the fuck? Like, but I mean, he ate that shit. I was like, ooh, one little punch, but whatever. It was a lot of dancing. It was a lot of walking or running, as they like to say in the ring. I'm like, dude, would you hurry your ass up? That fight could have been over with in less than some damn 6 rounds. Let's just keep it real. And if AJ got him earlier on, like, if he really was, he could have really, really fucked this man up worse than what he did. Because from what I was looking at, oh dude, Jake Paul got like 7 teeth missing, 2 titanium plates in his jaw. His jaw got fucked up, yo. I honestly, I don't think I would have took that fight if I was him, but whatever. If I was Jake Paul, but it is what it is, and that's what people do for the love of money. But ooh, when he get older, that jaw, baby, and now I'm quite sure he's under a lot of pain meds, but I'm just giving my perspective of what I think was going on. It was very spiritual to me. And also, one thing I wanted to say about